We've already looked at some of my favorite passages from the Qur'an. In the last video, we looked at numbers 10 through 8. Now we're going to look at numbers 7 through 5, and there's some real gems here. We're going to start with number 7. Allah will tell you what you believe. And beware the day when Allah will say, "O Jesus, son of Mary, did you say to the people, 'Take me and my mother as deities beside Allah?' And he will say, 'Exalted are you, it was not for me to say that to which I have no right. If I had said it, you would have known it. You would know what is within myself, and I do not know what is within yourself. Indeed, it is you who is knower of the unseen.'" Well, Allah is supposed to be awesome. If Muhammad is the perfect specimen of a human being, as Islamic texts indicate, you would expect the God he serves to be even better. The only problem is that Allah often demonstrates quality you wouldn't expect from an all-powerful deity. And these are qualities that you would think are beneath him, like being so ignorant that you get basic facts about other religions wrong. In this passage, Allah reveals his ignorance by incorrectly defining the biblical doctrine of the Trinity. He says that Christians worship a triad of 3 gods that included Jesus and Mary. Now, this is understandable given the fact that there were quite a number of Trinitarian and Christological heresies that circulated in the early church. But the fact remains is that Allah makes an amazing theological blunder here. Number 6, lots of luck with the ladies. Now, there's no doubt that Muhammad liked spending time with his women. Surah 33, verse 50 tells us this, "O Prophet, indeed, we have made lawful to you your wives, to whom you have given their due compensation, and those your right hand possesses, from what Allah has returned to you of captives, and the daughters of your paternal uncles, and the daughters of your paternal aunts, and the daughters of your maternal uncles, and the daughters of your maternal aunts who immigrated with you, and a believing woman, if she gives herself to the Prophet, and if the Prophet wishes to marry her. This is only for you, excluding the other believers. We certainly know what we have made obligatory upon them concerning their wives, and those their right hands possess, but this is for you, in order that there will be upon you no discomfort. And ever is Allah forgiving and merciful." Muhammad created this passage to give himself more sexual partners than any other man. According to Surah 4, verse 3, men have the right to marry up to 4 wives. But like comedian Mel Brooks was fond of saying,
"It's good to be the king."
The reason why Muhammad wanted more wives than anyone else should be obvious to any mature adult. It does seem that Muhammad used revelations like this to justify his sexual appetite. Muslim sources reference the Prophet's legendary sexual prowess several times. One passage claims that he had enough stamina to visit 11 wives in a single evening. The same passage has one of Muhammad's followers bragging that the Prophet has the sexual potency of 30 men. This is in addition to the fact that Muhammad had not only a record number of wives, but also a number of sex slaves. New religious movements and cults often permit male leaders to have plenty of sugar time with the ladies, which of course exposes their real motivations. Muhammad seems to have been no different from a Joseph Smith or David Koresh or any other similar leader. Number 5, convert or else. Fight those who do not believe in Allah or in the last day, and who do not consider unlawful what Allah and His Messenger have made unlawful, and who do not adopt the religion of truth from those who were given the scripture. Fight until they give the jizya willingly while they are humbled. In this verse, Allah commands Muslims to subjugate Jews and Christians with violence. Their victims can avoid a gruesome fate by paying the jizya, which is a tax that permits them to continue to practice their religions. It identifies them as a dhimmi, which is a person who has a kind of second-class status in society. Historically, and even recently in places like Iraq, non-Muslims have been required to convert, relocate, or pay the tax. Otherwise, they would be killed. Internet sources often claim that the jizya was just some kind of special tax and the people who paid it were basically left alone. That's what we call revisionist history. Historically, there was never any doubt that a dhimmi was worth only a little more than an animal. And we do know that in many places, anyone who broke specific rules of conduct received draconian punishments. We can see this in a quote from the Jewish scholar Moses ben Maimonides. God has entangled us with this people, the nation of Ishmael, who treat us so prejudicially and who legislate our harm and hatred. No nation has ever arisen more harmful than they, nor has anyone done more to humiliate us, degrade us, and consolidate hatred against us. Besides, even if the tax was everything that Muslim apologists claim, it still sounds like a good old-fashioned protection racket. Well, that's our look at number 7 through 5 of my favorite verses in the Quran. In our next video, we're going to be looking at numbers 4 through 2. And in our last video, we'll look at my top verse. So if you thought these were good, wait until you see what comes next.